over here. This was supposed to be a ground cherry, but it obviously is not. So probably a sunflower. We'll have to take it out of the hanging basket. Here's our contraption to keep all the ducks out of the TP beans. They're not big enough yet. Once they start growing up this, then I think we can take all the wire down. There's our little cucamelon. Inside Garden's doing good. The Brad's Atomic Grapes. It's not really getting a good video of those. When they turn yellow, then they'll, or yellow at the bottoms, then they'll be ready. But it's pretty big. And that's our Black Beauties. I think I saw a tomato on it today where it had been dropping all its blooms. Fertilized it. Can't find it now. And then our white Thomasells. They've got tomatoes, and they finally made some new ones. They were dropping their blooms too. That one's cat-faced, but I think it'll be fine. Little mini bells down there. There's some eggplant. They were turning pale. Of course, I had some flea beetles on them. That's what leaves the holes. We've sprayed, and they're doing a little bit better. They're not as pale since the fertilizer. Mushroom baskets, finally. Took a week, but we are finally getting some tomatoes. Same with this one. I forget what it is. Millionaire. It's getting some tomatoes finally. All of these had dropped blooms, and I think it was from that major heat wave we had. And that's our Missouri Pink Love Apple. So we've got finally some little bitty tomatoes. There's some back there on it. Eggplant, see how yellow they were? They're starting to get green again. There's Charlotte. We won't get her. She's our resident garden spider. This is more white Thomasol. There it is. So there's a tomato. There's a few more in there. So it took it a week after that major heat we had to start making some tomatoes. The Black Beauty, or no, what is it? Yeah, Black Beauty. It's doing well. Honeycombs, they're starting to change. There we go. Look at that calendula. Nasturtium. That's a beautiful calendula, strawberry blonde. It's inside. Flowers and ground cherry. Squashes are starting to get bigger. They were yellow and they're doing good now. Cucamelon climbing way high. Dad'll have to pick all these. Peppers. All sorts of peppers and an eggplant. These were yellow last week. See? And we've obviously put them in good soil, fertilized, and now they're turning green. They love it. Habaneros. These are Chadwick cherries. It took a split last week. One of the major branches broke off last week or the week before. Peppers. I'm gonna have to support this. It started falling over. I might have snapped something there. More of the Plants Plus peppers. Starting to green up. Dr. Witch's tomato seeds. These were just grown in heat instead of the heat mat. Very slow. So, I don't know if we'll get tomatoes from them, but it's an experiment. More tomatoes. Look at those. Those are St. Pierre's. I think this one's a St. Pierre, I'm not sure. Nope, Pantano Romanesco. They're another globe. Calendula, nasturtium's pretty. Peppers. More peppers. Can't believe this marigold. Calendula. Nomi, petunias, herbs. Look at that one. That's pretty. Peppers are doing good. They're starting getting little blooms. Tomatoes are doing good there. Lots of peppers in here. And calendula. Those tomatoes are doing good. These are the ones that got hit by the aphids. And they have started making tomatoes. Finally, they've recovered. I don't remember where they're at, but there's some in there. I saw them. So it was about time. Peppers and squashes, but they're all males. So that's the honey boat. This one's the Lakota. This one's spaghetti squash. Look at that. There's another baby. More babies. This bowl of squash bugs in my soapy water. This is the Rampicante, starting to grow up. One Kajari melon. I think there's actually two in there. One wing bean. I broke one off because it's fragile. I have to be careful. Kentucky bean, all trailed up. Chinese red noodle. It's a fragile one too, but it's trailed up. Rattlesnake, slow growing. Slow. Chinese, no, this purple potted. It's doing okay. It's got lots of little blooms. It's trailed all the way up. So I bet next week we'll have some little beans on it. Dragon tongue, there's some new little beans. Haven't seen any bugs on here. Let's move that around. But I know there have been some, because see, we got a couple holes. Nothing major. Okra is really starting to take off in some areas. Of course, I've got a squash in the middle of that one. These are doing great. And those are slow growing. But there's some blooms gonna happen there. Corn, same thing. Some are big, some are small. And I have a squash back here that's really going to town. It's actually covering up some of the little bitty corn that we had to replant. These are some beans that when they get bigger, we're gonna put the teepees back up. Squash, these little ones that were started late are starting to get some new growth. Kajaris. So these melons will trail up this cattle panel. They're starting. Eggplants. I'll move these over. These are starting. There's an eggplant. That is real black egg. Okay. So they're doing good. Morning glory, I forgot to water. I'm going to water that in a second. And squashes. Today we only found one squash bug. So that was a good thing. Still trimming these. I didn't trim today. I need to trim that one. Trying to keep the leaves very thin. And I'm going to tie them to the stakes to help with the squash bugs. So maybe tomorrow I'll trim them. Check out the ground cherry. There's some little ground cherries in there. We'll go this way. And then our different cucumbers. There's a cucumber. This is the dragon's egg, so it's got to be a fat white one. These are pickling ones. That's a pickling one. Little pickling ones. This is a slicer, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, straight 8. So it's a slicer. Not seeing any. And Market More. I think it's both. I don't see any on it yet. There's our Romas. These are the ones that got the blossom in right. Right there's one. Right there's one. Right there's one. So it got calcium treatment. Like I said, I think all these that are on here won't make it. But, oops. New growth hopefully won't have the blossom in rot. Just have to wait and see. There's another one. And that's a ground cherry. Look at that sucker. All spread out. There's some calendula in it. And that's the garden. Lots of blooms. So pretty.